welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? We give each and every sequel a fair trial. My name is Justin Cams, and I'm here with
Elizabeth Helly
and
Tyler Hymanson.
Oh, we're just keeping that train rolling. Episode 151. Here we go. On our way to 200.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rush because we have, of course, all the time in the world.
Oh,
That's right. Oh,
I need to just always have the beep, beep, beep noise programmed, but you know what? I just don't have it this time. Well, welcome back for another episode, you guys. We're finishing up the Spy Kids franchise. But before
we need to know what other franchises you want us to cover.
Right.
And also, any other
Absolutely.
feedback you have about the 150 episodes or anything else. So email us, sequelrights@gmail.com, or find us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Sequel Rights.
I just realized I'm going to have a rating for these movies because we're coming to an end of a franchise. I forgot that was
ranking,
happening today. Yeah.
How could you
for
forget?
Yeah. Well, yes, I have to come up with a rating as well. Yes, and please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts if you get the chance. Let us know of our 150 episodes, which is your favorite and which one you want to share. If you do have a favorite and you've already rated and reviewed us on Apple Podcasts, tweet that one out, share it on social media. We'd really appreciate it.
That's right. We hope you guys enjoyed last week's retrospective episode for 150 episodes. Man, that was it was fun to put together and, fun to just have a little bit of a look back on the Sequel Rights life.
Back in the before times.
That's
before
right.
2020.
You can hear the happiness in our voices.
That's right.
Now, we're still happy to be here and, excited to continue on and wrap up another franchise this week with Spy Kids 4D, All the Time in the World.
The Wilsons are like every modern family.
Dad! Do you have time to eat breakfast with us?
Sorry, kids, I've got to get to work. Feed the dog.
He doesn't really eat. Here, gonna...
With everyday problems.
Worst stepmom ever. Do you have a sec?
But what was supposed to be a special gift
My mother said it would always protect me even in my darkest hour.
You're really giving this to me?
holds the key to a madman's evil plan.
With the Sapphire, we can stop time, and the world will end.
And will uncover
Who the heck are these guys?
Enter the panic room now.
their stepmother's secret identity.
Hello, children. I am a spy.
This is a prank.
This is not a prank.
This is not a prank. We're doing the fourth Spy Kids film.
I really wish the dog was a prank.
Oh, I like the dog.
how Ricky Gervais is the prank on the entire world.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I thought the dog was funny. We can get into that later.
Oh, God.
But it's because I like Ricky Gervais. I'm sorry.
I like Ricky Gervais. I don't like this dog.
If you want to get into it now, like
out of the gate, we hate this dog.
I thought the
I
dog
hate
was
the dog.
fucking hilarious because he was acting like he was his own like Mystery Science Theater movie the entire time. Because almost every time the dog talked, no one ever like acknowledged that he was saying anything. And it was all just like weird jokes, like you were the audience making fun of this movie. So I just thought that was kind of funny.
This movie contains fan favorites like Jeremy Piven and Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, and accurately predicted the villain that is TikTok.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
The most important thing is that this movie teaches kids to be aware of TikTok.
That's
yes.
right. Do not enter. So this is the fourth one. It's 4D, Tyler.
It is 4D,
That's
but
funny.
the seats do not shake and they do not shoot
I
water
know.
on you.
Uh,
I just got very sad because it's a Secret Rights tradition where we go see one 4DX movie a year.
that's
And
right.
we usually try to pick the dumbest movie. And November of the previous year, after we've already seen whatever Vin Diesel movie it's inevitably going to be, Jess and I start scheming about what movie could it be.
We really,
And this,
we really fucked up this year because it's probably not going to happen, and it could have. We were almost going to go see Bloodshot, and it just
we were going to go see Bloodshot. We're like,
Just-
there's probably going to be a stupider movie,
Yeah.
and turns out, I'm so sad. I'm so sad.
But it was funny. So I was like, oh man, I would love to like watching this movie in 4D would be really stupid and funny.
There would be bubbles for sure.
Oh yeah, and so many smells. I mean,
So this was way before 4DX.
well, it's actually I looked that up because I was wondering about that. And 4DX was actually introduced in 2009
Oh.
at
It probably
CinemaCon.
wasn't anywhere yet.
Well, it said that it opened first in the LA Live Regal Cinemas, and then in 2011 when this movie came out, Regal was like, it's going to open up in 79 more theaters. So I think it was there, but maybe it was just like
No, I mean that makes sense because the original Spy Kids trailer, like the premiere in Vegas, that Vegas event that we were talking about previously, was CinemaCon.
Yeah.
So I imagine that Robert Rodriguez is totally tapped into that and was excited about 40X.
Well, really, it was just like we already had 3Ds. We have to get an extra D now that it's the fourth movie. Like,
That's right.
no way around it.
It
You
made
can't have
sense.
Spy Kids 4 3D. This doesn't make any sense.
No.
But yeah, so if you didn't live in one of the like 12 cities that had 4DX at the time, I guess you got a little card with scratch and sniff instructions that I'm assuming was just like 10 different farts.
Yeah. It's so funny. There's just, I mean, I didn't have time to put together a supercut of all the times they said time or all the times people were like, ew, what's that smell?
I honestly don't know I can't even think of what any of the smells were other than the farts. Maybe the candy, but that's maybe the only other thing I could think of.
Candy,
There's a puke smell.
blue cheese dressing, maybe.
Oh, blue cheese dressing. That for some reason was blue.
There was probably a baby food smell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what kid is going to be like, wow, this really does smell like blue cheese dressing?
It does smell like shiitake mushrooms.
Kids do
Yeah.
not eat aged cheese, okay? Like,
I hope they had like a metallic
You
smell.
heard it here first. You come here for the hot news takes. Kids do not eat aged cheese. You
well,
heard
I
it
guess
here
all
first.
cheese is aged, but they do not eat fine cheeses, okay?
Maybe they had like a smell of a musty cobweb smell when they went in the Spy Kids archive. I don't know. Who knows?
Wonderful. Well, and then there's just the smell that you get with Jeremy Piven. It's probably Draco Noir,
Yeah.
some cologne of some kind, I imagine.
Yeah. So speaking of Jeremy Piven, we immediately, not to spoil the movie or anything, but we immediately get introduced to the villain TikTok right in the beginning with this fun little like action chase scene with a new Agent Cortez that we haven't met yet.
who it is because his voice sounds
Yeah. And at first I was like, why is his voice like that? And then as soon as I saw Jeremy Piven as the Danger Damo guy, I was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah,
It's Jeremy
because
Piven.
Jeremy Piven's voice is just so recognizable.
Yeah. Whether it's tiny or low,
Yeah.
you know who it is.
It's like we're going to pitch up TikTok, and then we're going to make Jeremy Piven as the head of the OSS, Danger Diamo, sound like a newsie.
Yeah. And then he's also going to have to do a lower
How
voice.
dare you? First
Okay,
of all.
sound like a bad newsie.
Well, that was a plot point because the girl was like, you talk funny later
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
on. Because he was from the 1930s.
Yeah. And he was wearing a
Carrying
little
the banner.
newspaper hat.
Sell him a pape.
He was a man in a boy's body.
Yeah.
He says that in the movie.
He does say that.
Oh, that was so funny. Yeah, so we get introduced to Jessica Alba is in there as the new Agent Cortez.
But she's pregnant. Woo!
Yeah. She's on her final mission before retiring to be a mom, a stepmom, and a real mom. Not that stepmoms aren't real moms.
That's the sound of somebody digging a hole deeper.
Rebecca sure seems to agree with you.
We're gonna get lots of angry stepmom letters. You don't know how hard I work.
Don't call her their mom. She's their stepmom. Okay, like
Oh, yeah.
they do that so many times in this movie that you actually just like don't sympathize with the kids at all. You just
They're
feel
so
bad for
mean.
Jessica Alba. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm so old now that I'm like, wow, she's really trying. Those kids are so mean. But maybe kids when they watch it are like, ew, I wouldn't want Jessica Alba to be my stepmom.
Yeah.
What?
I also feel like that this might have been the time, and I have to check my facts here, where Rob Rodriguez had left his wife for Rose McGowan.
I don't know. I don't
So
follow
that might be part of the
celebrity
script
couples.
here as well.
I did read in the dubious IMDb trivia, but I also saw this other places that he had the idea for a spy mom because on the set of
Machete.
is it Machete?
Yeah.
Whatever, wherever Jessica Alba was, she was all dressed up in her whatever, and she had to like change a poopy diaper, and like the poop was just like getting everywhere, and she was trying to keep it from getting onto her costume, and so he was like, "Oh, spy mom."
And he just sat there and watched it and thought it was funny.
Let me get you some help.
I mean,
Can we get a PA over here with some wipes, please?
it's like I think his instinct was somewhat correct because I do think that scene where she goes on that mission with the baby strapped on, like the baby Bjorn, is kind of
The
funny.
Bjorn is great. Yes.
Yeah.
They take it a little bit too far with how long the baby is with her, but it is generally cute. And also when she's pregnant too, she's like, "Hey, come on, give me a break, I'm pregnant." And the thug is like, "Oh, congratulations." And she punches her out. Like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff.
And yeah, I mean, at first I was kind of like, well, why is she retiring? Just because she's going to be a mom? I don't get it. And also her boss sounded really like, you're about to be a mom. Time to hang up your, your badge or whatever he was saying on the intercom. I was like, yikes, sexist. But, he ends up being the villain. So it makes sense.
Right. Yep. And yeah, we meet. It was funny. The very first part after the big title sequence, like logo comes up, felt really like sitcom-y to me because it like opens on their house like and then they're like all around the kitchen table, and I almost half expected there to be like a an audience noise, people clapping at jokes and stuff. Oh, the baby threw more goop at the mom.
Well, and the poster or the the image when you decide to watch this movie on Netflix or whatever, it looks like they're a whole spy family, right. But very quickly, you through a video call or through a phone car call, you find out that Joel McHale. Well, first of all, you find out that she's given up her entire career in life for Joel McHale,
and you're like, seriously?
Yeah. Then you find out that he doesn't even know she's a spy. He thinks that she's the world's most dedicated interior decorator. Which, okay, that was a funny line. I mean, obviously Joel McHale is naturally funny, but this character is a bit not funny. So yeah. So anyways, he doesn't know. You find out that his kids hate her for some weird reason.
Just because she's not their mom. I think.
Then you have this other baby that's one that
which is
really,
fair.
really likes farting and throwing things at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like some kids don't want a step parent.
Yeah.
It's a trope.
And you're gonna think whatever you want and think she's hiding stuff, and in this case, she really is. Yeah,
she's an actual spy, mom, spy dude.
She's a spy mom, spy baby, spy dog. Yeah.
Overall, though, I think Jessica Alba was pretty good in this movie.
She is. She's great.
Yeah, she gets to be pretty involved. The parents are pretty involved in this, and some other characters that I didn't think would be quite as involved are involved later.
So Jessica Alba is allegedly Antonio Banderas' sister.
Cortez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she says that, because Carmen, who shows up later, says that she's her aunt.
Right.
So yeah, she's Antonio Banderas and Machete's sister.
Right.
But, and this is why I always thought it was so ridiculous that Cheech was always saying, "I'm not your real uncle." Like, I just feel like in most like Latinx families, anybody can be your uncle or your aunt, like it's like, oh yeah, they're my second cousin once removed or whatever. But it's like, you know what? You're around the same age as my parents. You're my aunt.
Yeah.
So I always was like, whatever, Cheech, get over it. But yeah, this one, who knows if she's actually their sister or whatever it is. We never even met his parents. We only met Ingrid's parents.
That's true.
So
Speaking of Ingrid's parents and Ricardo Montalban having superpowers from being in a wheelchair, we also continue that with a boy who has hearing issues and has improved all of his senses.
Yeah, that was
To the point where it gave him super strength at the end of the movie, I guess.
Well, no, he
I
had
thought that
the
was from
gloves.
the gloves.
No, he doesn't need the gloves.
Yeah, he turned the hearing aids up all the way and used it to hear the lock clicking.
I think that was just, yeah, I mean, that whole thing was weird because it was like clearly just to be like, my sense of smell is stronger. Let me smell this Cheeto.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Cheetos.
Yeah, so I think that was
But yeah,
more what it
it's it's a little problematic. And it's funny because when I was looking this kid up, I thought he actually maybe really was hearing impaired because I saw that his other big role is on the show Speechless, but that's not even about being hearing impaired. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute.
And
then he's just like the other brother. Yeah. So, and I saw some Twitter thread with him from a long time ago of some kid asking him, like, are you actually hearing impaired? Like the kid in the movie. And he was like, no, I'm not. But I tried to learn, sign language for the movie. And like,
which they never use.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, but it's not like it was his decision. So
right. It is just a weird thing. Like
it's a lame trope. I mean, it's cool. It's great that the kid, is very capable and, I'm turning my hearing aids down now is a joke that, every grandpa loves.
Yeah.
It'd be
this
nice
film
if it
is
was
for
just a
grandpas out there.
that he had, and they just didn't talk about it because he was a normal kid.
Yeah, or if that's going to be a main thing when you're writing this character, hire a hearing impaired actor like the girl in A Quiet Place, right?
Right, yeah.
Or Mr. Wrench from Fargo. He's the best.
So yeah, we've talked about Cecil, Mason Cook. Rebecca is the older sister. Apparently she's actually younger in real life, but how boys age not quickly. So he's a whole year younger.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But she's it's interesting because I, for some reason, have seen every episode of Girl Meets World. And Rowan Blanchard, this girl, is Riley Matthews, the daughter of Corey and Topanga. The unofficial niece of Sean from Cabin Fever. But her character, she's like not the sassy getting into trouble one because that's her friend, of course, because her friend's like the Sean and she's like the Corey. So it's weird to see her being such an annoying, just mean spirited, like angry brat in most of this movie.
The prankster.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. But like, she's a kid actor. What are you gonna do?
It's all your fault. This is why we don't have Spy Kids 5, because you just had to have Girl Meets World starring Rowan Blanchard.
Apparently, that's like part of the reason is that both of the kids had by then had regular shows.
Yeah,
Speechless and Girl Meets World. But yeah, I mean, her character was just so mean.
Yeah, she's the one who's like constantly just going after Jessica Alba, and her brother is like always like, hey, like cool it, like relax.
Well, I get it. He's younger. He probably remembers their mom less, unfortunately. He's a boy, not a girl, and so a girl's gonna probably be more salty about someone trying to come in and be like a mom to them. But I think after the first few times, it's like, okay, we get it. Like, she doesn't need to keep doing this to the point where it is getting in the way of like what they're actually doing in the movie. And it's like just so incredibly hurtful to Jessica Alba that she's doing it over and over and over and over. It's like we've all seen movies with stepkids. We get it. The kid does it once and you see how hurt the parent is and that's it. Or vice versa. The parent says, "Oh, my stepkids," and you see how hurt the kid is, right? But I don't think you need to keep doing it over and over and over in front of large groups of people.
Where there's slime involved
in the middle of a battle.
The action of the film so that the girl can correct and be like, no, step kid.
That was the worst one.
Hey, you henchmen, stop fighting us. This is my stepmom, not my mom. It's like, she's protecting you right now. She's putting her life on the line. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Or just bring it up later. I don't know. I don't have any step.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why at that point in the movie, because it's like towards the end of the movie that she's still like, we're your stepkids. Like, don't say
like,
kids.
We get it. We know how hurt Jessica Alba is. You don't need to keep doing this. No one cares. Like,
yeah, by that point, you're like, dang, she's a cool spy. Like, and we're fighting these bad guys. Like, yeah.
She saved your life, regardless.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that there's some stepkids that are just like, that's never going to be my mom.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's allowing that to exist, and I don't know. There's some people that
I guess. In a life or death situation, are you going to take the time to tell the criminals?
Time? Are you going to take the time, Elis?
We have all the time.
I'm going to point out every time someone says time.
No, at that point, time was running out. Okay. So I guess, that brings us to the insane premise.
Oh, shoot. It's the end of the episode, you guys. Time's been moving really fast.
Time's run out. It's already next Friday.
Yeah, shoot. We should be recording the next episode. No, I'm kidding. Go on, Elis. Sorry.
I don't even know what to say. Like, Jeremy Piven.
Well,
there's multiple versions.
Yeah. I think we could talk about how this movie is basically it's very, very similar to the first film in like the setup of as how the kids are finding out that their parental person, is a spy, and they have to go into a panic room, and then they get shot out through a crazy jet thing. It's like that exact thing happens in the first movie, and they're like, they even have the same line as like, there's no way she's a spy. She's not cool enough.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously on purpose.
Well, yeah, I know. But I mean, like, this movie, even though it has a lot of, things that make it a sequel, it's definitely trying to reboot and, like, capture as much of the original as they can, even by copying some of these, plot points beat for beat.
Yeah, and their dad is a spy hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess.
He's like trying to film a pilot, basically.
Yeah, he's trying to make his own reality show unsuccessfully. It seems to be the only thing he has going for him is that he's unbelievably handsome, as he says, self-deprecatingly, as they cut to a still of him looking stupid. But no, he's never caught a spy. Before their baby is born, he's trying to make the show. Then when we cut a year ahead when the baby has been born, he's making the show, but has yet to find another spy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think they're playing off of like ghost hunters. Like I don't know if any ghost hunters have an episode where they actually, well, other than those guys,
where they're like, my wife is a ghost. Whoa, I didn't know that.
So,
dude, bro, are you a ghost?
My wife has been a ghost the whole time. Yeah.
But he was holding out because even though he hadn't found a spy yet, he did own the device that actually somehow
the Acme Spy Finder.
Spy Finder 3000.
You have to switch it off of Roadrunners and then onto spies.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was really weird.
So okay, like we're talking about this movie and like different plot things. Like it's 2011, and this movie, the effects and everything else appear to be of the same quality as 2004.
Really? I was gonna say that I thought that they were a lot better.
I think it looks good.
Yeah,
I would say relative to where visual effects had made it by this time to what they were doing in the original 3 films, this is pretty stark. Like this feels pretty unacceptable to me.
Oh, I didn't think it was that. The only time that I thought it looked like, that I thought it looked pretty iffy was during the scenes where it was like giant clock, everything CG, the entire room is CG clock.
That and the jet escape was pretty bad.
But even that looked so much more real than the
I didn't think the
video
jet
game
escape was that
world.
bad. Yeah,
Right, but yes, but Spy Kids 2 looked better than that.
I don't know about that. I would say, while we're talking about all these effects and everything, I did like that this movie felt like a return to form after 3, where it was like, this is back to everything being like a live action cartoon.
Yeah.
And people are getting launched around all goofy stuff and everything.
Frozen a lot.
Yeah, everything for the most part is live action.
Henchmen being wrapped around poles.
Yes, like really fun stuff like that. Springs, like cartoon springs shooting people out of fireplaces. I thought that was a good after we have seen, what everything digital looks like in number 3. Like I was glad that most of this was live action.
Yeah. Their dog's a robot. And we hinted at this at the beginning, but I don't like him. Justin likes him.
I mean, the talking dog is dumb, but like I thought that it was funny that he just was like constantly commenting on things and no one was ever going like or like, it was just like, when he was talking directly to them, they would be like, oh yeah, we're talking to this dog. But then throughout the rest of the movie, he would always be saying these like, what I would characterize as like, jokey Mystery Science Theater 3000 comments. And I just thought it was
but
funny.
okay, so if there's someone talking remotely through the robot dog, okay, humor, sure, fine. But if it's a robot dog, fully like self-sufficient AI, why is it programmed to be mean, sassy, funny, Ricky Gervais? Like,
might I point you to Alan Rickman's performance as the robot in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
I haven't seen it, but
I don't know because it's funny. Yeah. What else is it going to be?
Because I think that there's an inherent joke in AI writing that in order to make them human and feel like more actually intelligent is that they have to hate themselves in some way.
Yeah, and I mean, like, what would you want it to be, like a serious talking dog?
Well, no, but the comedy should be from the fact that it is a robot, not the fact that it's Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, but then why hire Ricky Gervais? I don't know. I think
like if you think about like K2SO or
I absolutely see what you're saying. I do not think that Ricky Gervais in 2011 he was fairly well known.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I just overthink it, and I'm like, who programmed the dog to be mean and sarcastic?
I was not thinking that at all. I was just like, the dog is, if it's been watching these kids for forever and now finally gets to talk and make fun of them.
I have a perfect answer for you, and the answer is Mike Judge.
Yeah. I just like that he was making fun of the kids to their face and no one was saying anything.
Okay.
No giggles in this iteration.
Well, there was one moment where we had like references to all the old characters when towards the very end of the movie when Junie calls the 2 kids that are in the room, there is like a call log contacts list on the side, and it has Gary Giggles and Gertie and Dinky Winks and Romano and all those guys.
I missed that.
I also didn't see that.
Yeah.
Did we watch the movie? Maybe if it was, if it was in 5D, I probably would have seen it, but I couldn't see it with 4Ds.
We did get a cool thing where there's a meta joke where they take them into the part of the OSS where all the Spy Kids gear is, and it was like, it was before its time. Like we didn't, like people didn't know, And they had what was the robot frog's name?
They had Ralph, the little toy thing.
Yeah. Junie's Ralph and all that stuff, and it was cool. Like they had all those props around, and that was super fun.
Yeah, I like that they reintroduced Carmen. She shows up.
Yep.
to welcome the kids at the OSS headquarters, and yeah, like you said, takes them into this Spy Kids division archives, and it seems like the Spy Kids division doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool because we had when we had Alexa on, she was talking about how like all those things were really built, and they still have some of those props, and like it was cool to see like, oh, there are those props right there, and
Yeah, even like the plane and like the console. So
and they had like the thumb guys in the background too. I thought that was funny. Yeah.
I thought she was really good in those moments where she was like interacting with the kids.
Yeah, it was cute.
Oh yeah, she's great.
So
and when they come across like a video archive of showing scenes from the old movies, the kids are like, "Who's that guy?" And it's clearly Junie, and I love that moment when she's like, "We shall not talk about him."
We shall not talk about Junie.
We must.
Yeah, I don't really get what happened with them or why they decided to do it that way.
Right, like I thought he was gonna be the timekeeper or some bullshit, and then it was just like, nope, like we just saved him to come in as a badass for like a scene, I guess, and then their relationship's fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely like I just wish that they had given him a little bit more to do, I guess, because she definitely got a lot more to do than him. Maybe it was a timing thing. Maybe she had more days available than he did or whatever.
It was making up for Spy Kids 3.
Yeah, right. I guess so. But yeah, I'm kind of like, we left Junie and he had only come back for that one mission. He had quit the OSS, but then he says that he's been on a secret mission for 7 years, and like I don't really
a secret mission.
Yeah,
of shame.
I kind of hate the idea that they just haven't talked to each other for 7 years.
Yeah, like I feel like that wouldn't really.
No, and like and with their family too. Like, yeah, I kind of hate it. I do. Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah, it just sounds like he was too ashamed of failing on his own. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
that was
right.
The main thing.
So yeah, there's a big clock hidden under the ground.
Yeah,
like
there's a big clock.
Wannabe great mouse
just like
detective.
a fucking clock and whatever.
Great mouse detective wannabe ripoff where they're jumping over clock hands and stuff.
Yeah, I kept getting confused about what was the device and what was just like a giant clock layer that he had made.
Right. Yeah, it's confusing. Like there's like a MacGuffin of like a necklace that fell from a meteor that Jessica Alba had that then gave to her stepdaughter, but then asked for it back, and apparently something can stop the thing.
Some sort of alien crystal.
Yeah.
Very weird.
I did like where towards the end when we're getting lots of monologuing from Jeremy Piven and like the 85 Jeremy Piven clones about, what had actually happened. At some point, one of the Jeremy Pivens had taken the kid's hearing aids away from him. And then later on, they were doing sign language, and the Jeremy Piven Prime is like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you making hand signals? And they're like, he's hearing impaired, and the dude took his hearing aids. He's like, oh, give him his hearing aids back. We're not monsters. Jesus. It's like,
that was one of the better parts of the movie. Yeah. It's like, what? Why? No, give him back the hearing aids.
Yeah. So I don't know if we want to explain what happened to Jeremy Piven.
I thought his backstory was pretty good.
It's actually pretty interesting, yeah.
It's one of those like tragic, tragic backstories that is like, oh, it humanizes the villain a bit and goes, oh, I guess you understand why he's doing this. But
it makes more. I will say that it makes more sense than the Toy Maker.
Yeah, the Toy Maker is full of holes. Like, huh?
Yeah, mechanics wise, when you are stuck in time, you can hear, you can see, as long as your eyes were open, I guess. And your brain grows and processes, but you don't grow, you don't digest, you don't defecate.
You don't need food, I guess. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
you certainly
move.
don't defecate because this movie would give ample opportunity for you to defecate.
yeah.
So basically, that Jeremy Piven's dad was
Also Jeremy Piven
Senior was working on a time machine in the 30s. 1930s Newsies. Jeremy Piven ran into the machine.
Okay,
got
the
stuck in-
Newsies thing was like in the 19.
He was like,
First of all,
Dad,
Okay.
let me grab my papes. No, son, stay out of the machine.
by 19 teens, and so he gets frozen in stasis, and he has to watch his dad grow old trying to save him while he's stuck in stasis. And so his whole deal is that he's trying to perfect time travel so he can go back and see his dad. But like the actual interesting twist here is that the Spy Kids tell him, like, you can't change anything with time travel. Like, you're just gonna go back and you'll make a copy of yourself, but like you'll always have been stuck there and your dad will always die. And then we have this scene where like all of the henchmen pull off their clock masks and they're all Jeremy Piven,
Yeah.
which is like a nightmare that I'm sure me and most people have had.
Oh God.
Everyone's Jeremy Piven.
Everyone's
No,
Jeremy
Piven.
it's just
Oh,
it is,
Jeremy Piven.
it's definitely interesting because yeah, you said stasis, but typically like though people are not conscious for that. Like, and so
Right.
the fact that he's conscious is like
Fucked up.
horrifying,
Yeah.
horrifying
Yeah.
and terrifying. If any kid were to think about it for more than 5 seconds,
Right, you watch his dad toil and perish trying to save him.
well, yeah, and he had to sit there for
Yes.
like not only
lifetime.
not only for his dad to die, but then after that, the lab was abandoned and they only
Yep.
came back later and turned it on. So like, it's like the Futurama Fry thing, but even more depressing.
No,
like,
yeah, it's like Fry's dog. Like,
Yeah.
I just didn't get what, Jeremy Piven was going to do to try to stop his dad from dying. That seems to be the main thing where he's like, yeah, my dad still died. I'm like, he died of old age. It's not like he got hit by a car when he was young and you could move the car out of the way.
He was going to trap him in stasis, and then he was going to watch him film every episode of Entourage.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
It's like when he comes out as old Jeremy Piven, he's like, yep, my dad still died. You were right. And I'm like, no shit. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, spoilers, but he like end games it
Yep.
basically, like, which is kind of interesting that was floating around. But yeah, I don't know.
It's certainly a movie that doesn't necessarily have the same levity and fun as the other ones. I think it's trying to get there, but I think in 2011 the window for this type of movie had closed in a way that's kind of sad. Like I think that there should be a space for this type of movie. On Wikipedia it says that the budget was $27 million, which is incredibly low and incredibly fun, and there should be silly fun movies like this that get made.
Well, and really not only has like the cultural space for it closed, but the theatrical space.
Correct.
I mean, well, obviously there's no theatrical space right now, but pre-pandemic, like at this point, this thing never would have made it to the theaters.
No,
it
correct.
would have been, and probably even around the time it did come out, I'm sure that they were probably thinking, home video, but because they had to have the 3D and the 4D and whatever, they
Well, no,
did
yeah,
that
it was
way.
more pressing for that. I was like, here's the theatrical thing that we can spend little money on, but make, and it made, it looks like
85 million.
85 million.
Worldwide.
So,
Worldwide, yeah.
I mean, it made its money back and then some.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of those things that I think that could probably deserve to be a little better, but I also appreciate a space for a spy kid movie where there's a bunch of fart jokes and a talking dog and whatever it is. And it would have been super fun if I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a lot of that happening
And I
mean, I thought it was fine. It just really felt like a TV movie or streaming.
Yeah, and I do think
By
that I feel like more than the third one, I do feel like it lands on like a pretty solid message about like using the time that you have to spend with the people you love, because you don't know when you'll be out of time. Like,
yep.
And
it does not shy away from hammering that home,
Yeah.
saying that directly and giving you reasons why.
yeah, and I think that's a good message for people. And you know, maybe it's told through this super convoluted, crazy, goofy story, but if kids are able to come away with that, and maybe the parents that are forced to watch it with their kids also come away with that a little bit, then I think that is a good thing.
Yeah, because like, I mean, what was the message of the third one? Like,
Like,
play less video games and don't kill people for revenge.
grandpas are cool sometimes.
Grandpas are cool.
Exactly. So the third one didn't land the family message.
Like, spend time with your family is a little bit more relatable than don't murder for revenge.
Yeah. One of the funniest parts in this movie, and one of my favorite parts, is when Joel McHale's character is like driving around with his like videographer who's like filming the show with him, and he's talking about like, yeah, man, like once I've got the show and it's been on for 5 years, then I'll really have I have prime time. I'll have all this time to spend with my kids. And the guy who's with him driving is like, hey man, you won't. Your kids won't be kids anymore by that point. He's like, what are you talking about? And then he has this amazing line where he's like, yeah, well, by that time, like, you'll have all the time in the world for regret.
And then he just breaks down in tears.
No, I have to say, like, I was surprised by the reaction of Joel McHale's character, because the whole gag is that they get the footage, but he can't see it because it's so far away. And when they get back to the studio, he's watching it and he realizes that that's his wife and kids. And, he doesn't like get mad or expose them or care about fame. He actually like takes the tape and eats it and pours coffee on the computer and whatever, and it's like, and loses his TV show in the process. And so I actually thought that was pretty surprising. I guess maybe
I agree.
You just
and they don't get in a crazy fight afterwards either. Like, it's not like
because you just think that like fame would be like the most important thing, but
he shows up to help save the day even. a little bit
after the dog calls, when a dog calls.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a moment where he like is kind of like, I don't know about this, and he goes home, but like, which is pretty stupid because obviously his kids were.
Yeah, I know. They find him sitting on the couch.
They're in the OSS. They're in a safe room, like, so, but still, like, wouldn't he want to go be with them right away instead of going home to feel sorry for himself?
Yeah.
White male fragility. What are you gonna do?
Well, I don't know. Do you guys want to wrap this one up? You got a rating system?
I think so. I think a rating system for this movie would have to be how many hammer gloves.
Those hammer gloves were cool. Oh, that one scene where he turns off the lights.
Oh yeah,
and the hands just go flying around. I thought that was really cool, and I was like, that might have looked cool in 3D.
Actually, I apologize. The absolute correct answer for the rating system is how many wristwatches wearing on your person.
At what time?
On your, how many wristwatches upon your forearm do you give?
Yeah, that's another thing that he uses his hearing aids for, to hear all the wristwatches.
Oh, yes. Also, according to this movie, if you're a kid, you should be really studying up on anagrams.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he's like a Lisa Simpson status, like, doing those anagrams.
Anagram solver.
Yeah.
That's the
I
only
think he's a big fan of Lost,
Yeah. He
it's
notices
like,
right
all
away.
the decoders can figure it out, but it's an anagram. So.
Without even seeing his name printed out, he's like, "Did you know your name is an anagram?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, Spy Kid.
Justin, how many wristwatches are you wearing upon your forearm for this movie?
I rolled up my sleeve and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 actually. 5 wristwatches on my sleeve. Actually on my wrist, I guess. I have a really long wrist. No, I thought this movie was okay. It's funny, when you read about how the Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is around 22%. And I feel like, reading some of the reviews, you're like, oh man, you can tell when people are just like totally, the reviewers at least are just totally over a franchise and like just completely write it off. And like, I get that it's not as good as the first movies, but I think which I don't know if anyone really was at this moment in time. Like if you're watching them all like we are back to back, or you're really invested in the series, I feel like you would maybe like this one a little bit better than 3, or at least like feel like it's like I said earlier, a bit of a return to form of the like the first 2 films, or at least an attempt to do that. And find things to like about it, like we mentioned, the overall message and the goofy live action cartoon comedy that was a trademark, I feel, of the first couple films. I mean, I think this one is totally fine, and if you're a fan of the franchise, like, even some of the original characters come back, and I think kids especially would get a lot out of this movie.
Yeah, I will give it 4 wristwatches, 1 for every D that's in the title.
Nice.
I hear what you're saying. I really don't think it's like bad. I just it's fine, and especially for kids, but I think that I still prefer 3 just for the sequel stuff, I guess. Like we talked about the big thing at the end where all the old characters come back, and I just think this one just I can't really abide by the number of like fart jokes and the lack of forethought about robot dog programming. So like that's kind of just, I guess, where I'm at. I did like that, even as an adult, Carmen still wants to avoid cursing by using her catchphrase of shiitake mushrooms.
Oh, shiitake mushrooms.
I pulled it.
Yes. And maybe she was doing that just because she was in front of the kids, but I want to believe that she just does it all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh, the spy baby was played by twins Jenny and Bella Solarzano. Solarzano, and their real names are Genevieve and Belinda. So it took me a long time to find them, and then when I did find them, all I could find out was that their grandmother died in 2012.
Oh,
because I mean they're like only 11 or 12 at this point.
Sure.
So
I did think that the spy baby was cute, and I did laugh when she flipped that dude at the end because it looked so goofy.
Yeah. I mean, I did think obviously they had twins and they filmed it, but I thought it was just really funny with Jessica Alba running around with that baby strapped to her for
that was great
hours, I'm sure. So go ahead, Tyler.
I'm gonna roll up my sleeve and find 4 wristwatches as well. I feel like that it's fairly disconnected from the rest of the franchises. I do think that it is a better film than Spy Kids 3D because Ricardo Montalban does not just randomly chase a butterfly for half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's more focused. I feel like it is lacking though. It's just not, especially because like there's so many people involved from the original. Like it's not like there's some other director coming in,
Right.
trying to like reboot Spy Kids or something else. So, I feel like that because of how tightly knit all the other ones were, this one feels disconnected in a way that, like, it makes sense that you can't get Carla Gugino or you can't get Antonio Banderas, but like you could have found a way to tie them in. Like you could have found a way for, it's just, it's a little bit disappointing, and I think that it's the reason that it's the end of the franchise thus far.
Well, and Machete's there, and he doesn't even talk.
Yep.
Yeah. He's just frozen because for some reason, when a few people get frozen, they're like midair for some reason.
He was jumping around.
Yeah.
He was House of Pain in it.
He was in there, though. I did think it was surprising to see him, yeah.
I think that So wait, that's going to bring us to the end of the Spy Kids franchise. Are we going to rank them in order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy for me. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm. I would, yeah, I might do the same, honestly, but I am conflicted mildly about 3 and 4.
I feel like I might do a 2, 1, 3, 4.
Oh.
I very much enjoy 2. I think 2 is very.
2 is
I
good.
think that all the visual effects land. I think that it's way more.
You're just doing it for Dinky Winks, aren't you?
I love me some Dinky Winks, but no, it's the Harryhausen stuff, like the skeletons and everything. Like I feel like that it really is this sweet spot of what you could do with visual effects at the time and pushing the envelope. And I feel like that movie is really good, and I don't know if I rated it high enough at the time. Like looking back on it, it's incredibly impressive.
By the way, I did think this movie was much more violent than the other ones because they're always fighting people. There's no thumbs, there's no animals, there's no skeletons. And so it was really like, oh man, they're like just punching people in the face left and right. So
well, I did see that this one was PG. Were the other ones also PG?
They might have been. To be
remember.
fair, the clock people that they're all punching, we didn't know were Jeremy Piven until the end of the movie.
That's true.
Yeah, you might have felt better about it.
Yeah, you might have thought they were just some weird clock people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. Spy Kids crossed off the list. Would you okay, let's say like 2 years from now they announce Spy Kids 5. Would you be excited, or would you how would you feel? Would you want to go see it?
Yeah, I would probably go see the movie.
I think we'd have to go see it as a group, obviously.
Yeah.
Definitely go see it. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like my pitch that I gave to Alexa for just Carmen and Junie are adults.
Yes.
There are no kids whatsoever. It's just like a John Wick, like Atomic Blonde style, like complete like murder fest, you know?
That would be sweet. I'd like that too.
It's like John Wick just shows up and being like, I need your help.
I do, yeah.
Universe.
It's I mean I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but there is that Netflix TV show that's more recent, but I do feel like this is something that's probably going to bounce back at some point.
I mean, Comic-Con this at some point in 2020, Robert Rodriguez talked about Shark Boy and Lava Girl coming back.
Yeah.
So who knows?
There you go. It could happen. More Spy Kids. I'm down for it. I'm down. All right. Well, that's another franchise for us. We got more to come on our road to 200 episodes. But before we announce what we're doing next, Eliz, where can people get in touch with us?
Send us your suggestions via email to sequelrights@gmail.com or find us at Sequel Rights on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps other people find our podcast. It's not just about us feeling good about ourselves. Feed the algorithm. It'd be fantastic. If not, please share episodes that you enjoy. Let us know what you think the Spy Kids should be up to in Spy Kids 5. And I would say give us suggestions for what we should do next. But we already know what's going to be coming next.
That's right.
So please give us your suggestions what should come after this. But Justin, tell the people what we're going to be talking about next week.
Well, I'm pretty excited about this. We had so many plans this summer. The COVID-19 has just like decimated any of the new movies coming out.
We were going to tie in with movies. We were going to line up perfectly with new releases in theaters and have it be this incredible marketing strategy where we looked like geniuses.
So we've been missing that a little bit, but recently a brand new sequel finally is going to hit theaters and home video at the same time, or premium video on demand, or whatever they're calling it. And that is, if you haven't seen the news, it's Bill and Ted Face the Music. So we're doing the Bill and Ted trilogy next.
Keeping with the time travel.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good transition. Excellent adventure, bogus journey. It's going to be great.
San Dimas High School football rules. And I guess we'll see everybody next week.
That's right.